It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm senior meteorologist Wesley Williams. So here's a look at Monday, what to expect, which, by the way, is in the wake of a cold front. So we had a cold front pass overnight, and now our pattern's turning drier. It will be cool and breezy today, and we're wondering if the clouds will clear. If they do, then temperatures could get pretty cold tonight. We could see frost freeze potential in the area. Speaking of those clouds, we'll take a look at them in a moment, but first, let's talk about what normally happens rain-wise in South Mississippi, because I want you to pay attention to that bar on the end there, December. How much rain do we normally see in December? Just under 5 inches of rain, and that's from December 1st to December 31st. But December 2025 had a different plan. We got more than a month's worth of rain in just 1 week. December so far has been more than 6 inches, more than 6.5 inches of rain, which is more than the last 2 months combined and more than you would normally see anyway. And the rain clouds this morning are starting to break apart. We had some rain earlier this morning, but now it's just dry, and we're trying to wait for some sun to peek out. You'll notice in the Biloxi view here, most of the I-110 is cloudy, but look at this little peak of sunshine right there. Same thing by the beach. Look how most of Highway 90 Beach Boulevard is cloudy, and then little peak of sun right there. So we're seeing the first signs of some clearing. You can also see it up in the sky over Gulfport. Some peaks of sunshine rather in those cloudy skies. And we have the live satellite view that I want to look at from the National Weather Service's website. This does a really good job of showing where the clouds are and where they aren't. This would be basically exactly what you'd be seeing if you were up in space looking down. This is a satellite with a live visible picture of the daytime images. And notice here, South Mississippi, we certainly have a lot of clouds nearby and more coming in from the north. But there are some breaks in those clouds. Looks like most of the sunshine is closer to Picayune, closer to Bay St. Louis. So if I were to just pop up an MDOT cam, which we've got a bookmark to the MDOT site, I bet if we popped up an MDOT cam in Hancock County, we'd see a little bit more sun. There it is, right on the money. So you can see if we make this full screen. There's a day with some sunshine this morning on I-10 near Diamond Head in the Kill. You can see even more bright sunshine down there in the distance. That's facing east. If we turn around and face west, you can also see, look at the shadows, long shadows on those trees. So as you can see, you can't have a shadow without some sun. But look at this, the clouds are moving so fast, the sun, you can watch the sun moving. This peak of sun is moving more and more west. The shadow not as bright, and now we're getting a little bit more brightness coming. So yeah, the clouds are on the move, and that's just what I wanted to mention as we head back to our weather graphics. So let's take a look at our picture of the satellite, which I don't think does as good of a job as the one on the National Weather Service website. But you can still see in general, there are some clouds here across the area. If I were using a visible image, it'd probably look more defined. But this is what I want to show you. So the cold front, that's where all that rain came from. If you had some rain last night, that has now moved way away from us. So the rain that used to be here last night is now way away from us, and it's going to continue to move away. So that's why it's not going to rain anymore today. It's just going to be dry. We have dry high pressure moving in. That dry high pressure should work to clear some of these clouds. I said some, not all. So don't get too excited about that. One other thing we are watching, though, cooler air. That's going to be moving in, so whether the clouds clear or not, that's kind of uncertain. But what is certain is the cooler air that's going to move in from the north and west. Cooler, that means there's a change, right? The change from yesterday, when we had 60s and some 70s in the area, to today, in which the temperature is falling. There's a look at the last 24 hours. There was our high yesterday afternoon in the 60s. And ever since then, it got cooler when the sun went down last night, and it got chillier this morning. You can even take a closer look at just the last 6 hours, and the temperatures are doing something weird. Normally around this time of morning, we get the temperature to come up when we go from pre-dawn to after sunrise, but the temperature actually has come down over the last 6 hours as well as over the last 3 hours. We find more 40s across most of this map. And that's that cooler air moving in behind the front. And it's not just about temperature. It's also about the wind. If you've been outside, you've noticed it's breezy. These winds out of the north 10 to 20 miles an hour, and that's causing a wind chill. Moss Point, Pascagoula 49 feels like 45, right? Gulfport 49 feels like 42 because the wind is 18 miles per hour. So we're going to see breezy conditions as we go into the whole day here. It's going to stay breezy, and it's not going to warm up very much. Even if you get some sun, I still think the temperatures are only going to make it into the upper 50s this afternoon. So not much warming there, just steady temperatures in the 50s. Hopefully the clouds clearing. And then this is the last thing we'll cover in the video, the coldest temperatures of the week. I'm going to give you a heads up, are heading into the area by early tomorrow. So there's 9 o'clock tonight, no one's freezing. But then after midnight, we see that cold coming in from the north, and we do have a pretty good chance of seeing freezing temperatures in the area, asterisk. We actually have to get the sky to stay clear tonight. If it gets cloudy, then these numbers you're looking at will be wrong. But assuming that we have at least a partially clear sky, wherever the sky is clear, we are going to see lows dropping to the middle and lower 30s. And even with just a little bit of wind, there might still be a wind chill. Maybe somebody finds a wind chill in the upper 20s tomorrow morning. If we can get to the middle to lower 30s, that will be cold enough to damage any sensitive plants outside. So protect those before bed tonight. Could also be cold to harm any people or pets outside. So make sure that those protections are in place too. If we see the clear sky and get that type of cooling. Problem is our models are showing some uncertainty on whether the clouds will clear or not. We have our GRAF model showing clear tonight. We have the HRRR model showing clouds lingering tonight. And this same thing happened last week. I think it was last Tuesday night. We were supposed to have a clear sky and a freeze last Wednesday morning, but it stayed too cloudy and nobody froze. And then the clouds cleared later during the day last Wednesday. So I'm wondering if a similar thing could happen like that this time, or maybe we don't clear out overnight. Maybe we do see, the temperatures not performing as expected. But there you go. Today, highs in the middle 50s. That's below normal, but it doesn't last. We go to mid-month, or midweek rather, and we're seeing temperatures going up to closer to normal. By the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, seeing more 60s on the thermometer, which is actually pretty close to normal for this time of year, maybe even a little bit above normal for our local area. So there's your 7-day forecast. The cooler conditions, the cool snap lasting today, tonight, and tomorrow, and maybe parts of tomorrow night. Once we get to Wednesday during the day, it's back to the milder, typical December weather for us, with upper 60s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Rain chances staying slim to none with a dry stretch of days ahead. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. Gotta run as we've run out of time here, but thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you are finding a way to stay warm in this chill. See you again next time.
Thank you for watching Waking Up with Wesley with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.